I made many videos about how to move to Florida and all the little things that I've learned when we moved to Florida from Ohio. And someone had a great question today, and they were asking about how to downsize when it comes to your kids' artwork, the things that they made for you, arts, crafts, letters. And I thought that was a really good question because it's easy to say, well, declutter, minimalize, get rid of stuff. But then when you actually physically go do it, you're like, well, I can't. My kid made me this. They wrote me this letter. It's artwork, this. And I totally understand because I've been through the same exact situation. So I thought this video, I would discuss a little bit more in the details about how to downsize. We already talked about where we can sell things, consignment shops, Craigslist, eBay, Amazon, donate things, give away, throw it out. We know that. But how do you get rid of something sentimental, something you care about, something that means everything to you? And actually I did something like that today. It took me 28 years to get rid of this item, but I did because it was getting a little moldy. And that one thing was my two nieces made me a birthday card out of cardboard, and they had written letters and did some artwork saying how much they loved me, and oh, I just love them so much. And they had glued it on this big giant cardboard, and I've been dragging that around for literally at least 28 years, like forever. Yeah, 28 years. And I just noticed it's getting little spots and mold on it, and I told my one niece, I said, I took pictures of it, and I said, I have to let it go. I said, I feel so bad, and she said, well, don't worry about it. Oh, what a relief it was when she said that. So today, after 28 years, I went to the garbage and threw it out. I did take pictures first. So that brings me to downsizing and trying to figure out how to do it, physically how to do it. It took me way too long to do this, but when the kids were little, Willow and Noah, before we moved to Florida 8 years ago, well, Willow's 18, Noah's 15 going on 16, so 8 years ago Willow was 10 and Noah was a little bit younger. And about 2 to 3 years before we moved to Florida, I had this feeling that I should downsize. I didn't even know we were moving yet. And I made a video called It All Started with the Junk Drawer. So you'll want to watch that. If I remember, I will put it in the description box or somewhere here. We'll see if I remember. So I just remember I had 3 junk drawers. I don't know how many you have, but a lot of us have more than one, and that's where you throw that button, that needle, that thread, that one shoelace, that penny, some change, batteries, just the miscellaneous things you don't know what to do with. Well, I had 3 of them, big ones, big drawers. And I remember my sister was over one day and she goes, come on, let's narrow this down a little bit. So that's where it started. And I just had to get rid of, and I don't like throwing things out, so I donated a lot of things like buttons and small things like that. I knew that were still good and maybe somebody could use it, somebody would want it, but I couldn't sell it. It wasn't like worth anything, so I donated a lot of stuff. I don't remember throwing a lot away unless it was broken. So that's what I did. I started with the junk drawer. That's probably an easy way to start, something like that. And then of course, the closets. Now for me, it's real easy because I never had a lot of clothing. I hate shopping, so clothing, I'm happy wearing the same thing every day. But I remember telling the kids, let's do spring cleaning. And they just loved it. They got all excited. And so that was easy, getting rid of the clothes that didn't fit them. But then I was like, well, what are we going to do with this artwork, you know, that you did, and I want to keep it? And they're like, it meant nothing to them. I'm like, what do you mean it means nothing to you? You know, here I am holding on to these things. And they're like, you know, get rid of it. And so, you know, if it was something that was really nice, and well, I kept it. But some other things that were really nice, I took a picture of it is what I did. And then we decided if it was something we could sell, we did, and we gave the kids the money, or we donated it, or if it was like a letter or something, something what we did, because we used to do this for Santa Claus, is burn the letter. Like for Santa Claus, they used to write the letter to Santa Claus, and then we used to throw it in the fireplace, and then Santa Claus would get the letter. So what we did with this was get those letters, we put them in the sink, just one at a time, and we would light those letters, and the letters went out into the universe. So that's what we did, and it was more of a little bit of a little ceremony. I know many of you could just toss them and it'd be easy and done with, but I'm a little sentimental, so I felt like I needed to do more, and the kids enjoyed it because they were younger and they enjoyed that. So that's what I did for some of their things that they had, you know, letters or drawings, artwork that they did. And then as I got a little older, because remember I did this over 2 to 3 years, so we'd go through their things, and I still had all this stuff. So you do what you can that first round, and know that you're going to do this maybe 20 times before you actually get through to the one box maybe that you want to take with you. And that's what we decided at the end, that we could only keep one box. And we actually had one box for both of them for a long time, you know, recently. But now I have another box. I put my mom and dad's memory stuff in one box, and the kids each have a box of their own. So, but going back to when we were in Ohio, I had to go through that process many times. We'd go through their things, because remember I had a ranch and a full basement with lots of shelving and cabinets that Rick had made me. So a lot of places to stick stuff in. So I was storing things, you know, up to here, and I shouldn't have, but I did. So basically the kids gave me permission, saying, "Why are you keeping this?" So of course, you know, workbooks and homework, that went out first, and then some of the pictures that weren't the best, crayons, and we threw that out. So that's how I handled that, and the kids really helped me a lot when they said, "Why are you keeping that? You know, that's crazy." And I felt like, okay, they don't think much of it, so it's going, and that's what we did as far as that goes. Now there's other sentimental things that you folks might have, like I did. I had trophies from when I was a competitive dance / figure roller skater, and that's not something I felt like I should just throw away. And it was years of practice and hard work, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't get rid of this. It's just bulky, and I had a couple shelves. It was just too much. I'm like, what am I can't move. And that's eventually when I knew I was going to move. I knew I had to get rid of some of the things. I knew I couldn't take trophies. They're like bulky and big, and so my brother gave me a great idea. He said, take pictures, and that's a good thing, because I was taking pictures of my kids' stuff. So I took pictures, and I donated the trophies, because sometimes they can recycle those. And so I was happy that I did that. And I honestly, I don't know where those pictures are. I don't have any desire to look at them. And that's something you'll be shocked to find out later, is that something that you thought was so special to you, something that you could not get rid of, like trophies, and you're taking pictures of them, and you're like, oh my God, I'm just sick about getting rid of them. And then after they're gone, you forget about it. I don't think about them at all, except for to tell you about my story. So that's how I feel about a lot of stuff. Then you got your little knickknacks, gifts from people. That's, you know, difficult. And what I did was tell the people who gave it to me, you know, I tell them, I said, I'm moving, I can't take it with me. And most did not want the item back. They said donate it, sell it. They didn't care. They didn't want it. So I had the memory of them giving it to me. I loved it. I cherished it while I had it. If it was something I wanted to remember, I took a picture. Most of the items were donated. Maybe some were sold. I don't even remember anymore of all the things I had, but I know I had a lot of things. I used to collect porcelain dolls and unicorns. I have only one unicorn, because it's extra special. It belonged to my brother who's passed, so I kept on to that one. But my other ones and stuffed animals, I only kept a couple that were really special, and I still have them. But I let go of all those things, and taking pictures was huge. But I didn't just do this in one swoop. I didn't just say, okay, I'm getting rid of everything. I started off with things I really didn't care about, like the junk drawer or old clothes or things that my kids didn't care about. So I started there, and then I went back after, you know, maybe whenever I was done doing that, a month later, I don't know what it was, went back, and then I realized, oh, you know what, I really don't need this. Why am I holding on to this? Things started going out the door again. And then we also started making piles, like for a yard sale, because we did a couple of those. After a couple, it was so much work, and I used to do them years ago, so I know how to do them, but I just didn't want the stress of doing that anymore, so that's when I discovered consignment shops. But I kept going over and over again, many, many times before I got down to that one storage container to come down to Florida. And if you think about it, I had 10 acres. Rick had a 1,200 square foot workshop, 1,800 plus square foot house, and a full basement of stuff. That's a lot of stuff to sell, get rid of, donate, throw out. So I feel for you, for those of you who are starting from the beginning, but don't worry, you could do it. You just have to do something every day, and literally every day you need to do it, because it will take you a long time. Like I said, it took me 2 to 3 years to get there, and even then, those last days that I had the storage container in my driveway, and my brother and Rick had put a chalk mark on the ground in the garage to show how big the storage container is, so I would know how many boxes, how many bags can go in there, and I had so much more that would not fit. Thankfully, my neighbor and her son said they would take the items, and they do yard sales, or they did, and they sold the stuff for us and sent us a check. So that was like really nice, because I no longer had time to take things to the consignment shop or Craigslist. We were moving, and I thought everything could fit what I had left. So it's like I didn't think I had anything left, but it was still too much. So that's what I say, when you think you're done, you're not. My suggestion is start with those things you know you really don't care about, then go do it again, come back, start again, try to get rid of things. And you know, always ask your family first, you know, hey, do you want this or this? Because maybe they want it for a little while and enjoy it. There's nothing wrong with having things and wanting to keep your stuff, but if you only have so much money and you have one container or one truckload or whatever, that's all you could afford, you can't move, you know, an empire unless you have unlimited income. Most people probably can't afford to move everything, but for those of you who can and you want to, then Godspeed, you know, then go do it if that's what you want to do. But I'm speaking to those of you who need to get rid of stuff because you can't move it all, because you're moving maybe into a smaller place. And that's usually the case when you're coming to Florida. You're usually coming from a larger house maybe, or a larger apartment, or a place with a basement, and you're coming to Florida where you might be renting, where it's smaller, or you don't have an attic, or you don't have a basement, or you don't have that workshop, you know, smaller. Besides the fact that maybe you don't want to spend the money on renting 2 storage containers, you've got the issue of just the items not fitting into your new home. It takes a lot of planning, and it takes a lot of work, and it takes a lot of just up here trying to get it together to tell yourself it's okay to let it go. You enjoyed it while you had it. When you let things go, other things come into your life. At least I believe that. Let something go, something new comes in. Don't feel like, well, I'm left with nothing. I feel like, you know, I don't have anything, because you created new space, and now new things will come. And your whole life may be like that, and you're going to want to make sure you keep on this getting rid of things, because as new things come in, you want to be blocking up your home and your energy, and you're, you know, getting stressed over all this stuff that accumulates in people's lives. Most of us know that it's so easy to happen, where you end up with a lot of stuff and a lot of stress. So I personally find it freeing to let it go. And I'm always looking for what's going to come in, and maybe it's not an object, but maybe something new in your life. It feels like there's energy that comes and it goes. So I always look out for the things that might be coming in when I get rid of things. So when I get rid of things, I don't feel like I'm losing anymore. I did at first. I felt like, you know, I was crying before we left Ohio. I had to get rid of all this stuff, and I don't even know what it was. I don't miss it, and I've had a lot of wonderful opportunities that came to me, I think, because we let it go. And I think of that now when I let things go. I feel it's because something new is going to come in. So that makes me feel better, and it usually happens. I know a lot of you are stuck with how to get rid of those special things that meant so much to you or that mean so much to you. And so do it with your kids, do it with your family. Ask them what they think, and you might be surprised. And if they really, really want to keep it, well, then you just hold on to it, and you have to get rid of something else. So you'll have to prioritize what you think is important, because we all have different things that we think are important. Hope that helps a little bit. If you like this video, thumbs up, please share, don't forget to subscribe, and most importantly, don't forget to live a passionate life.